Hello and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 339 at scavengerlife.com.
If you have listened to our podcast for any length of time, you know that we like to go on trips.
Yes.
And, call them trips, call them vacations.
Yeah.
However you want to call it.
Travel.
And, it's a holiday, so we're doing what a lot of people are doing. We're leaving tomorrow for a 10-day trip.
It's exciting.
We're going to New York City, as we do most Christmases. It's kind of like the best thing possible. We have friends there.
Yeah.
Who have a great apartment. They go to visit their family, and they let us cat sit.
Yes, we cat sit.
Yeah, so we're actually doing them a favor, but they're really doing us a favor because they have this great apartment downtown, and it's awesome.
I mean, you couldn't pick a better location.
And I'm sure other people, too, are going to be traveling to visit family and all that. And again, the way we do it, we keep selling on eBay.
I just changed my handling time.
Right, we don't put our store in vacation mode.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make sense, because vacation mode doesn't change your handling time.
Right.
Which is what you actually get judged by. All it does is it puts like a banner up at the top that says, I'm going to be back on this day.
Yeah.
But your handling time's the same, and then if you sell stuff, eBay says, well, you didn't ship on time.
Yeah, that happened to us once.
So we learned a long time ago just to change your handling time.
Yeah, so I just finished doing that this morning.
Yep. And then while we're there, we just sell. So if you're going to go and visit family and they're like, who cares about eBay? I don't understand. You can just laugh and sit there while at your phone. Cha-chings,
During Christmas dinner.
Yeah. And again, I just say this. So we're going to be gone for 10 days. People will wait. We always send people a message just to remind them. But I really feel like there's this thing where everyone bamboozled, where everything has to be shipped the next day.
Right, that's the perception.
And I get that, like, it's nice to get things quick, but most people don't really care. And actually, it's for us, when we buy stuff on Amazon, since we don't have Prime.
Yeah, we have to wait anyway.
I don't think anything ever comes next day or in 2 days. Yeah. Everything's like over a week, especially if we buy from the actual people at their homes.
Like the merchant, merchant fulfilled.
So I just think the fantasy that everything has to be shipped fast is that a fantasy?
A fantasy. Well, we've gone on 6-week trips.
Right.
And had minimal people need stuff.
Right.
It's amazing. So a 10-day trip is like nothing.
Yeah. And the other thing as being a scavenger is when we take trips, it's so much different than how regular people do traveling. Like, we're already talking about all the places we're going to go and scavenge the minute we hit the ground.
Like, literally right when we get off the train, we're like, let's go here.
Yeah, we're taking the Amtrak, so we'll get into Penn Station, and we're traveling light, where we're now into the travel light mode. We each just have a little small day pack.
Yep.
We only have like
clothes.
One pair of clothes, although some extra underwear and socks. But basically, the pants I have on, one shirt, a sweater, a light jacket,
and
then anything else we need, we'll just buy.
I mean, if we're going scavenging, we're going to thrift stores. So if you're like, oh, I really need a such and such,
there's a great Salvation Army that we go to, and they always have these tag sales around this time of year.
Yeah, that's true.
And we'll go and buy like a wardrobe,
and then probably just sell stuff on eBay.
Yeah, and then so our trip is built around taking walks.
Yep.
Watching people, I love doing that, and then just walking around town, scavenging either on the street or just at different places that we've now kind of built up.
Yeah, it's fun.
And the cool thing is we do this anywhere we go. It's such a it's almost like you're making a scavenger hunt.
It is. It's a scavenger trash hunt.
It's literally a scavenger
hunt. I remember, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I was like, oh, I found some stuff. Like, we found some stuff and we have been thrift store shopping. And I was like, I really need, like, a rolly bag to bring stuff back. So I just, like, walked down the street to, like, Union Square and went to a couple different, like, parts of the block around there. Totally found, like, 3.
On the street.
Right. I mean, some of them, like, one of the zippers was a little funky. And I'm like, that's probably why someone just dumped it. But I'm like, And then I brought it home and like sold it on eBay after using it, you know.
There was one year, because we always take the train up and down. So the great thing about the train is you can basically bring on as much as you can actually carry.
Yeah.
So there's no like 2 bags only or whatever. We kind of went crazy. NYU was letting out, and all the kids put all their stuff out. And I remember one year, we had rolling bags full of stuff. We had a vacuum cleaner that we still have now.
I still use it.
It's like, it's kind of crazy, but hey, it was free.
We were like, but the thing was, we were like, it has wheels,
right? And
it has a handle, and it was collapsible, so we just like brought it with
just
us.
Imagine us 2 people with backpacks, each having like a rolling
a vacuum cleaner
bag and a vacuum cleaner. That was we actually taped it all up.
We used like a trash bag to tape it up, but
so people weren't like, "Why do you have an actual vacuum cleaner?" So
a dirty one.
But hey, it was great, and that just makes us like feel good, you know.
Yeah.
Like for us, you know, there is no like work and it's vacation. Like I remember what that had been like, you know. It's like, oh, I can't wait for vacation.
Right.
And then halfway through, I'm dreading, oh man, this is like, it's going away. I'm going to have to go back, you know. And it's like that Sunday feeling like, oh,
like, oh, Monday's coming.
This way, our life now is like the work doesn't ever stop, but the fun never stops.
Whoa.
You know? Like that's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know, like when we sell what we love to find, then this is just like a lifestyle instead of a job.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just, you know, part of your life.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's, you know, it's great. So, and anytime we go to an urban area, it's really just a playground and like a source of income. Like that's just how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, look, New York City can be very expensive, but we cook at home. We eat out sometimes. I mean, rarely.
In the apartment that we're staying in, right? I mean,
so
we're even taking food up with us.
There have been times where we've taken a lot of food. This time we're being minimal, but
because, you know, food's expensive in the at grocery stores, so we're bringing like a bottle of mayonnaise instead of paying $5 for that, you know.
Exactly. We're assuming our friends don't have mayonnaise.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to eat all their food
stuff,
either.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've already even gone on it's Craigslist and just to see.
We've bought stuff on Craigslist before.
I remember that at one time because we were kind of, I don't know if we were underprepared, but we even bought a printer.
No. I'll tell you what it was.
Right.
This is what happened. We wanted to print labels to send home some boxes. But the problem was their printer had run out of ink.
Right.
And it was like this super specialized printer. And I was like, oh man, like if I go to Staples,
it's like $50.
It's so expensive, right? So I'm looking on Craigslist and I'm like, I bet there's someone selling these for a couple bucks because they just have them like on Craigslist. Because New York's great. Like there's so much stuff on Craigslist. There was a lady who was giving it away for free, like up at like 130th Street. And I was just like, I'll come get these. So she lived in a pretty fancy place. She left it with her doorman.
Wow.
In a like fancy bag. I went up to 135th Street. I'm like, hey, I'm, you know, getting this stuff from so-and-so. And he's like, here you go. And it was free. Wow. It was like, what? How does that happen? But it's such a huge city that it's like, you're bound to find, you know, something. I remember one time, this is another good one. We were staying at another friend's house. This was years ago. And he didn't have a French press. He didn't have a coffee maker. So we went on Craigslist and looked for like the cheapest French press for some kid at NYU. And we like went to NYU, met him outside, paid him $5, and we had like a French press. It's like so much cheaper. And we just like left it at his house, you know?
So, you know, like if you're going to a new place or if you're going to a city to visit a family member or something, and maybe if you've been there, it's before, but if you're new to scavenging, like change the way you go to it's this place. Start figuring out like where are the thrift stores in this town.
Like scavenge.
Go on Craigslist and see what's available.
I mean, we're trying to take advantage of being in an urban area because we don't live in an urban area. So when you're in an urban area, you're like, let's take advantage of this.
But I mean, I'm also just talking about how again, I feel like a lot of American towns can be really boring. I mean, I've been to places where you're like, this is so boring. It's just like strip malls.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't experiencing it as a scavenger.
Right.
And now, we always look for where all the thrift stores are. If we have time, we'll even go to an auction. Going to an auction in a new place just changes the way you experience.
And it's so funny because the locals will just be like, who is this person?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And also, it's great to be with family, but sometimes it's not great to be with them all the time. So it gives you a reason to, like, get out of the house.
Right. Go do something else.
So we're excited. We're leaving in it's morning.
Yep.
Gonna be all ready for it.
I just hop on that train.
Okay, some random things. Last week, I talked about Amazon
merch.
Merch, that part of Amazon where you upload images for a T-shirt, and then they will make the T-shirt for you as people buy them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like what is it?
Cafe Press or Spreadshirt.
Yeah, it's just Amazon's doing it. And I made people told me it's wrong about something. I said if someone bought a $20 shirt that you would only get paid $2.
Which is
I was wrong.
10% or whatever.
Now it's actually $5 to $6 per shirt. So if you sell a $20 shirt and you make $5 to $6, Amazon's take just had gone up. It goes up January something.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's great. I don't know. People are really the people who are into it just won't.
Yeah.
We'll only say how awesome it is. So if you think it's awesome, that's great. It's just like a different way of trying to earn some cash. It's not really scavenging. It's more like if you're a creative person and it's want to make a bunch of images.
Yeah.
That's cool. To me, though, people tell me, well, there are people that make thousands of dollars. I bet those people are basically, I bet they have to spend a lot of time and money on marketing and branding.
Right.
So this dream of you just make some images, throw them up, go to sleep, and if you make $1 million, it's just
it's not get rich
it's not
quick.
true.
It doesn't exist.
I think you have to build a brand. You build like a website or a Shopify site.
Right.
You get Facebook ads and Google ads,
Instagram, and you get a following.
You're following what the trends are out there and making funny
It's work.
LOL shirts, and something comes up in the it's news, and you make a quick T-shirt hoping to capitalize, but it's only for like a window.
Yeah.
I can imagine if you make a popular shirt, other people will see that and they'll copy yours, so you're having to fight that. None of that's bad. If you love doing that, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just, I just always cringe when people are like, this is just the way to make a living so easy. It's never easy.
It's not easy. Yeah.
So you got to find the thing that you love. If you love to be a marketer, sounds like a great thing.
Yeah.
Okay. eBay.
Okay, big question of the week last week.
So Ryan said something very like a doubtful statement.
Right, it was doubtful. So, can a buyer leave negative feedback if you've refunded them through an eBay case?
Right.
And I was saying they couldn't, because that's what I've been told.
By eBay.
Okay. But we had several people email us, call us, all those things, saying, nope, I refunded someone through a case. I worked it out with them the way they wanted, and they still were able to leave a negative.
And I even said what I tell everyone on our forum. I mean, if you think that's true, find me a link. And we have not been able to find anything on eBay. Because it's one thing, some person on eBay telling you some
right.
We've all had that where they tell you some rule and we know for sure that's not true, Mm-hmm. So when people say these things on eBay, I'm like, okay, it's got to be in writing somewhere on ebay.com.
Right.
It can't be
so you can point to that.
Can't be some story that someone told you, or it's on the eBay forum somewhere. Those are just stories. If it's a rule on eBay, it's somewhere in their actual, it's codified somewhere. So I don't think that's true. I think people can absolutely open up a case. And you can refund them everything, shipping, all their money immediately. They can still give you bad feedback, and that would make sense because they're still allowed to have an opinion.
Right? And that's what they say. Now, I will say this: I feel like you might be able to fight it and have a better maybe that's what I was thinking they were saying, where they're like, look, if they leave you a negative feedback, give us a call back and we'll consider it, you know. Maybe that's what they were saying,
right? I mean, I think if the person, like, if we've done something wrong, we sent them, you know, a bad item, then they have every right to say
right, sure,
something wrong. Because if you could just erase negative feedback by giving people a refund, then I could be a really evil person, send people crappy stuff, and hoping they just eat it. And the few people that do open a case, then I'd refund them, and then I'm always have good feedback, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there you go. Okay, so we have been struggling with this whole guaranteed shipping program, you know, that eBay just rolled out, and we jumped through all the hoops. We got all of our items into the qualifications that they've asked for. So when up at the upper right, when people do a search on our store, they can click that thing that says show me everything that will get to me in 3 days. When we do that to our store, almost none of our items are that way. We call eBay. They're like, we don't understand. You've done everything you're supposed to. Well, someone on the forum said that you actually have to have same-day handling. So on the eBay qualifications, it says have either same-day or one day.
Or one day, right.
So all of our things are on a one day. And so now this guy is saying that it has to be same-day handling only. And I'm like, so when do you need to ship for same day? So, you know, if someone buys at 10 a.m., it's got to get shipped by the end of the day, right?
Someone buys something. Well, you decide when the cutoff time is.
Okay. But so can we make the cutoff time 9 a.m. every day?
I have no idea. Okay. Because I don't do same-day shipping. Gotcha. So I would love to know that from someone.
I would love to know on same day what the cutoff time is. Like, what's the most time I can give myself to ship?
Right.
You know, so can I say can it be at 12? Or does it have to be 4 p.m.? I mean, you know.
Right.
Because I'm assuming it can't be... There has to be at least enough time
for someone to order something that day. Yeah, right. I know. Well, that's why we were always like thinking same day was exactly like one day, because if your cutoff is at like 10 a.m., then I mean, you know,
we always have things out by 10 a.m.
Right.
If it's noon, we could do that. Now, if it's starting to be like 2 or 3,
then I have to drive to the post office.
Yeah, you know? And it's also just like then you just spend all day just trying to pack, you know.
And sometimes I'm like that to keep up with it, but you're like, you know, next day.
So when we get back from traveling, we're going to look into that about same day, you know.
Because if we have our storage building and we have everything here,
it's easy
It's like you said, I can go get stuff up until, you know, maybe like noon, where you're like, okay, my postal person generally comes before that.
I just think it's weird in eBay, I've not heard any info about this. It's like, if things have to be same day to get into their guaranteed program, that they just need to tell people
that's for me. I'm like, man, so few people are going to be able to do that program. Like, what's the point? It just seems crazy.
eBay's always doing that, where they're like trying to bring the bar up, and some people don't care, and some people do. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, our storage building. We had our electric guy come out. Yesterday, the electric man.
Yeah.
He came out and began to work.
Yeah, he started working.
He tried to, you know, we talked about where we want everything, and, you know,
it's so basic, though. It's lights and outlets. Yeah. So that's what's great.
Yeah. But, you know, it's still a big deal. So that's good. He's kind of figured things out. He needs to come back. He's a busy guy, so he'll get it done. I'm hoping by the end of you know, by January 1st, he gets it done.
And something that was funny to me that you did is you wrote a letter to our storage locker people that we get a storage locker for, and you're like, we're done.
Why do you think that's
December 30th? Because I was like, can we just wait to tell them?
Nope.
But, we're gone for 10 days. We get home on the evening of the 27th.
So we've rented, so we have a lot of storage on our own.
Yeah.
Little buildings everywhere in our house, our porch, like our stuff is everywhere. It's fine. We've run a business in this way. It's great. But we do have one place that we pay for, $60 a month. I think we've had this thing for
several years, more
years
than
now.
That, yeah,
and $60 is great for like a 10 by 10. I mean,
it's big.
It's huge. A lot of furniture in there, but I was like, I'm gonna just cancel it to make us clean this thing out.
I said plant a flag in the ground, and you're
Yep.
like, what does that mean? I'm like,
so so I wrote them. So by the end of the month, when we come back, we'll have 3 days to pull everything out.
just get it all on the truck and
just
move it into
done.
Our
shelves we bought on Lowe's.
Those come on actually they come the 29th.
Okay, the 29th. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So they'll come and they look easy enough to put together.
Yeah, they said it's easy to put together.
I also found some cool security cameras for our building.
It's funny that you mentioned security cameras because I hadn't even thought of that, but that's a good idea.
I mean, the thing is, we have stuff where, like, if some crazy drug addict, like, busted in wanting to steal stuff to buy their drugs, I mean, what are they going to take? Some old pots and pans?
Yeah.
Some, like, fabric? I mean, like,
Right.
we don't really have stuff that's easy to sell.
Yeah.
So I'm not that concerned about it. But it's concerned about, like, vandalism.
Yeah.
Just a bunch
Safety of
of
the
stupid
building.
junk. And there are actually these cool cameras now. They're real cheap. They're infrared cameras, so they come on in the dark. And they're motion detectors. So
that's great.
they only come on if they sense there's something going on.
So, like, if I walk in, you'll get some alert on your phone, like, Ryan's
and
over
that's
there.
the cool thing. So it actually hooks up to an app, so it alerts you
Right.
if there's any kind of
Which is great, especially
movement.
when you're away.
And we have 3 as neighbors actually on
Yeah.
every side of our house.
Yeah.
They aren't super close, but they're close enough.
Yeah.
I could text them immediately
And say, can you run out there?
They all have guns, which is
Yeah,
great
right.
because we live out in the country. But
yeah.
anyway, so that makes me feel good. That feels like a real smart adult.
No, I think that's a great thing. I would love to check those out because I know some other people who have like businesses on main streets.
Yeah.
And they have, some things like that.
Well, the way these cameras are sold are mainly more for like if you have a baby and
they're
put it up in the baby thing so
you know your
can
baby's
capture
okay?
a moment. Yeah, just see. Or if you have pets at home and as you're at work, you can put it on there and you can actually log into the camera. So
you can some of the cameras you can talk like through the camera.
Yep. So you could talk to like
your cat. Oh, what's going on? Yeah. So next time we go traveling, we'll have to put one in our house and see how are the cats.
Yeah, that's right. What are they doing? Are they eating my food?
Yeah.
Okay. And also we there's some news I guess on eBay that eBay bought Terapeak.
Now,
which I don't really care about any of this. I mean, it's like I don't know what that means, but I guess we'll talk about it. Terapeak is that like site
where you can look up like historical sold data, right, and how much stuff is worth. That's what Terapeak is, right?
Yeah, I'm just there's like another one. Worth Point is another one. I think there might be another one.
Yeah.
But I mean, basically, I don't understand what exactly eBay's buying because from what I understand, a company like Terapeak, they buy a stream of info from eBay.
Right.
So they're like, we want to get access to all of the solds on eBay.
Yeah.
And then they suck all the info in and then they make cool little
like
graphs
and
data. So then you can see what's sold. And, eBay will give you what's sold in, was it 90 days?
90 days, yeah.
But Terapeak and these other will give it to you for years back.
Yeah. Which we always say eBay should just give to you. Anyway.
And I'm like, well, eBay already has all that data. So are they it's purchasing like the way Terapeak shows the info?
I think so.
Okay.
And the people and the business, I guess.
And so what I'm hoping is eBay like gives people that pay a subscription for a store gives access to like all that data for free or part of the thing.
What I would also love is better internal store data where you're like, do I have duplicate customers?
Right.
What are they buying? What's my most popular category?
Right.
Like they used to have something like that called like Omniture or something. And it was horrible. Yeah. I was like, this is awful.
No, we've said that multiple times. It is so crazy.
Yeah.
That if someone bought an item from us for a second or third time, that there isn't a pop-up or some is noticed that says this eBay person has bought an item from you on this date a long time ago.
Right. Or,
why not?
Yeah, because you're like, oh, this person is buying X item from me. Next time I find this, I should let them know.
Right.
You know?
Or we talked about a couple of weeks ago, like, you know, to write a personal.
Right.
I know, like,
exactly.
I think doing it to every single person that buys an item doesn't really make sense because of just time. But if I knew a person had bought an item a previous time,
you're gonna
then
be
it
like,
might
thanks.
be nice. Here's a note.
Check out my other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there was a person that bought, it was 2 or 3 vintage, like, women's wool coats recently from us in New York City. You know, and so I was able to write them a note and be like, check out my other stuff, because, like, I have tons of that stuff. So, you know.
And then the final thing on eBay we kind of experienced over the week is changing our handling time. We, in our second store, we turned on
business policies, shipping policies.
Because people said they're good, they've gotten better. Mm-hmm. If you have business policies, then when you change your handling time, it's really easy.
Right.
How's that going, Ryan?
So the thing about business policies, when you first turn it on, it does this thing where, because all of your shipping could potentially be just a little bit different, you know, I'll have a big chunk of them that are like, oh, there's like 4 policies where most of them live, you know. But then there's like 4 more pages of just slight differences of one item in that policy. So last night, I'm like, I have to change ship handling time for all of these one by one. And I was like, well, you know, what I should do is change, you know, those like little single ones into like a policy that already exists that's similar. So I click on it, show me the listing with this policy, and it doesn't show me. It just shows me all my active listings. You're just like...
Right. So I guess if you are starting brand new on a store, then you could build business policies.
Yeah, like 5 business
and
policies.
add them. But the problem we're talking about is we already had a 2,000 item store, and then we like just turn them on, and eBay tries to go and automatically
like make policies for each one.
Yeah.
Now
like
I will say this: I think there is a way to reassign them. I saw a link that was like reassign these policies. So I'm like, I think maybe when we're traveling, when we're in New York, I might try to do that. Mm-hmm. Because changing handling time through business policies takes 2 seconds. If you only have 5 policies, you're like 10 business days, done. Which is awesome.
Like, how many business policies do you think, you know, is a normal amount? Like, it's for us?
I would say, I mean, max.
10.
Oh, I mean, 5.
5, okay.
Yeah.
And right now, we have, like, 50.
Yeah, there's, like, there's more than that. Because there's, like, single listings where it's like, oh, you're handling whatever, your, like, handling charge was 50 cents. Right. And this one was 75 cents. So it, like, breaks it. And for this one, you had first class shipping international. But this one, you had priority international plus first class. So it, like, every single difference they've made. And you can change those. Right. But it's, like, I have to go through one by one. And so it gets a little bit crazy. Okay. But I will say this, if you only had 5, it would take notes. You just be like, boom, boom, boom. The other thing, too, about business policies is it's definitely part of the old eBay. Like, you click on business policies, and it switches into, like, the old eBay view. Like HTML.
It's, like, really bad design.
Yeah, you're just like, this is...
So it doesn't feel as if it's,
it's not new. It's like,
updated.
Yeah, so I don't really know. It was interesting how easy it would have been if I didn't have like 100 policies, you know.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
I like to, bring
look
things
through
up,
it.
and then I like to update people.
Yeah, I'm gonna look through it and just see if I
Yeah.
can like reassign those to ones that are similar. It's like just put these,
Right.
in a bigger category.
Okay, let's talk about our numbers.
Yes.
We like to talk about our numbers, not to brag or to confuse anything, just to like plant a flag, as Ryan said.
Plant
just
a flag in the ground.
And let people know what it looks like to be full-time on eBay.
Yeah.
Okay, we sold 65 items, so almost 10 items a day,
Yep.
which is good.
Didn't we sell 81 last week?
Yep. So we sold a little bit
Yeah, a little bit more.
less, yeah. So we sold a total of $2,600.
Whoa.
That is not including a shipping cost. That's
Right.
just the gross amount.
Yeah,
Okay, and then in our second store, we sold 14 items for about $400.
that's great. Although
not
one
bad.
person hasn't paid yet.
It's true. So it feels like it's been it definitely feels like the holidays. I feel like I'll see something sell and I'm like, oh, that's like a good gift item.
Yeah.
So, we say we don't really count on the holidays for all of our income, but it definitely is a nice little boost.
Yeah.
It's good. Okay, so let's talk about some things that we actually sold. So our highest priced item
Yeah.
was a shearling hat for
Right.
$290.
Yeah, like a $300 hat. What?
I bought this hat for $10.
Yeah.
It was it looked like it'd never been worn. It
don't
was
think it's
in
ever
the
been worn.
box.
Yep.
And do other people have this experience? I'm just like, why would someone just donate this?
Right? You're like what is...
Like, who are these people that just give stuff away?
Yeah.
Like, they go in their closet and they're like, oh, I paid... Because...
This is actually like a $400 hat.
Right, so
or
we
more.
bought it... We sold it at a cheaper rate
Right.
than if someone bought it brand new. But someone opens their closet and they're like, oh, I paid $400. It's for the hat. I'll just donate it. Just get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
I'm just like, we never give anything away that has a value
Yeah.
to it, I don't understand.
I don't know.
that,
There are people who have more money than sense, as they say.
I guess. I mean, like, if I were to run for office, my political slogan would be, give yourself a raise by not being wasteful.
What does that mean? I don't understand.
You don't understand that? Because I feel like the mainstream America, it's
Wasting
tough,
money.
like making money and bills are high and everyone's struggling. I'm like, but if you don't waste anything,
Yeah.
you're giving it yourself a raise.
Right, gotcha.
I got to work on that because if you didn't get that, then
Give yourself
slogans
a
need to be.
raise.
Well,
it's like what-
if we as a society would just understand, like, don't just give stuff away. Sell it on eBay.
Right.
Sell it at, at least
Yard
people that do
sale.
a yard sale are making something,
Right, right.
But
I don't know. There are people who have a lot of money that don't have time to do
I
that
guess,
stuff, so they
I'm
just
like,
give it
God.
away.
Yeah, anyway,
Yeah, it's crazy.
it shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's just, I guess it's more like, it's just so incredible that
It's
it is
amazing.
possible. Like, this isn't some like weird thing. We do this all the time,
Yeah.
I bought this thing for $10, sold it for almost $300.
Yeah.
In about 2 months.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is amazing. That's an amazing
And other
find.
people are doing that too. People are coming on the forum. I found this. I sold that. Amazing to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's an example of how we live.
Yes.
When we were in Ireland,
Yes.
I did not bring a knit cap.
Which is crazy.
And I have a bald head,
Yeah.
and it was cold. So we go to a thrift store. They call it
Is it an op shop?
an
No,
op
that's
shop.
Australia.
Yeah.
Charity?
A charity shop.
Yeah.
They're very tiny. It's definitely not
There's
like
almost
our thrift
nothing,
stores, but it was
yeah.
fine. I found like a knit cap. It's like
Liverpool,
a soccer,
right?
yeah, like a soccer team emblem on it or something.
Yeah.
But it was $1, or it was
It was €2.
€1, yeah. And then we came home. I don't really like it, so we put it on eBay, and it sold for $20.
Yeah.
So I bought something I needed
Yeah.
for a short time.
I used it.
I used it. Then I listed it and sold it and
Sold
made
it for a
back
profit.
money.
That's the
Amazing.
thing.
That's America right there to me. That's real America.
That is real America. Well, that's the great thing of
I gave myself a raise.
you made money on your
That's right.
vacation. Well, that's the thing is a lot of times when we're like, oh, if I need something at a thrift store, I'm going to buy it for cheap-ish, use it, bring it home and sell it.
Yep.
So you're not losing money. You're not like, oh, I forgot
That's right.
such and such. It's like, it doesn't
It's
matter.
like I am renting everything.
You're borrowing.
Everything we have, I'm just renting it.
Yep.
And when I'm done, I sell it.
Absolutely.
Okay, we sold a bunch of perfume, just like it's different perfume bottles.
Handful of perfume.
To me, that's a good example of holiday gifts.
Yeah.
Perfume is also, it's one of those things like I never thought we would ever sell. I didn't know people bought old perfume,
Yeah.
and you're the one that figured that out, you know?
Yeah, I think I just got some in some box lots, and I was like, well, I'll just look it up. And then I started buying more and more and more.
Because, it's all about these perfumes, especially, these people like buy perfume like in the 80s.
Right.
They'll use a quarter to a half of it. It's in a box somewhere. They die. It gets given away.
And stuff gets discontinued. So people are like, that's my favorite perfume. I have to get
I can't buy it. So,
so they are not fast sellers. Like, it reminds me of mugs. I love buying and selling mugs. They're not fast sellers, but I sell a couple every month. Sometimes there's a handful, it comes in waves. Like I sold 4 or 5 perfumes the last couple days. And, I won't sell any for a little while, but,
Okay, here's another example.
Yes.
We sold 2 iPhones. These were our iPhones.
Yeah.
They were old iPhones.
Right.
How much did we sell them for?
So I sold an iPhone 5, regular 5. It was 16 gigs, kind of small. I sold that for $50. I had it up for $90 for 6 months. And I was like, you know what? Here's the deal with eBay. They won't let you change the handling time to more than 3 days on phones. And we're about to go away. And I was like, I need to sell these this week. So I got to bring the price down to a reasonable price for the buyer and the seller, which is me. And I put $50, $49.99 on this one. It sold within a day. I had an iPhone 4S that we had unlocked to bring over to Europe, but now we have phones that you don't need to do that for. You just get another SIM card, like it's a universal phone now, which is great. So I sold that for $50, and it was a bundle. It had
just all the stuff that we had with it.
Yeah.
And I guess it's my point is that's a good example of we had these phones.
Right.
We
used them.
I use them like crazy. Our phones are our business. We do our business on them, and then we just sell them.
Just sell them.
It's not a whole lot, but they're old. They're like they give these phones away free, when you sign up.
And look, people buy these on auction. Like when I look at auction prices for $20, and I'm like, well,
but we have friends like the people we're gonna go stay with in New York. I love them to death.
Yeah.
But they're the kind of people where when I open up a drawer to find a knife or something, it's their junk drawer, and there will be old iPhones just in their junk drawer.
Handfuls of iPhones.
Right.
I will say this, they are international travelers, so I think some of those phones were like what we had, where you have to switch out the...
But they just, I don't know. I mean...
I'm I want to sell this on eBay.
It's knowing them. It's like they do well in life, and I'm just like they're like we don't want to sell. I don't care about selling this. I don't want to have to ship it. I don't want to have to meet somebody. I don't want to have to deal with it. It's not that much money in the grand scheme of things. I guess it's just so crazy to me. I'm like, dude, give yourself a raise.
Give yourself,
you
do. You do need.
That's gonna be my
make a t-shirt.
Yeah. It's going to be my catchphrase, It's going to be on billboards.
When you run for office.
There's going to be a montage where people are like, give myself a raise.
Today.
Okay, a couple more things we sold, just to throw it out there. You found some cheese signs.
Yes, so at a thrift store, junky thrift store, I found these signs that's basically for a market in France or a grocery store. Back when there was not the euro, it was francs, and it was cheese signs for French cheese and the prices that you'd stick on the cheese, But they looked so cool, and I was like, "What are these doing here? This is the most random." And they were just sitting on a shelf next to a bunch of mugs.
It was just 3 of them, right?
There was 3 of them. They were plastic.
And we put them up, and they sold for $80.
So for $80. I love those. That's a great sale.
Yep. Just so weird.
So random.
You sold a lamp that we got at the auction the past several weeks ago. One of those things I would have been like, okay, let's just throw that away. Throw that away.
Look, so
you sold it for $118.
And we got good feedback on it, so
Amazing.
it didn't break on the way there. But
how did you know that was worth anything?
I'll tell you this. Okay. So to me, it was made out of white porcelain, basically. It had a solid brass base. It came from an auction of like high-end stuff that we went to. And I put it up, I think I originally put it up for like $50 or $60, just as like a nice lamp. And my mom said, my mom looks at like all of our listings, which is actually very helpful. She goes, I think this is Lenox, which is a high-end brand of China. And so I looked up other vintage Lenox lamps. So it wasn't marked. And I was like, this looks exactly like Lenox. And I've had Lenox China before, and it did look like that. And a lot of these Lenox lamps would have, when they bought them back in the 60s, 70s, would have had a paper label. And that label probably came off.
Gotcha.
So they're not like imprinted Lenox, like in the base or anything. So I'm like, I bet this is Lenox. So I said it was.
And somebody bought it. They loved it. They agreed, and they gave us good feedback.
So that's a great sale.
And then the last thing is, again, another example. So you had a pair of these black boots.
They were actually Prada.
I
bought them at a yard sale for like $10.
They were like your favorite little fancy boots, and then they just became not boots.
I just didn't wear them.
And we recently did some reorganization, and I found them under a bench. And I'm like,
they're all dusty.
I'm like, did you never wear these? Let's just sell them. We put them up. They sold for $80.
Now, I will say this.
There you go.
I bought them for 10.
You gave yourself a raise, Ryan.
Okay, you're not listening. You're going crazy. I had them resold when I bought them in Brooklyn. So we were in Brooklyn one summer. I bought them. I had them resold. I think it was like $50 to resole them.
What? Oh
yeah, but they're Prada boots. So you're like, that's nothing.
Okay. So
and then I wore them for a couple of years. So I basically made my money back.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go.
I gave myself a raise, right? Jesus.
Customer issues. So we had, anyone that sells clothes and shoes will have this experience. We had several returns in 1 week.
Yeah.
And even stuff that's coming back, maybe even 5 things. It seemed like it seemed like there was one day we were just getting hit with all these return requests for shoes and clothes. And really, that's kind of just like I don't know if you want to call it the downside. It's just the reality.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of how everyone buys clothes online. We can say everything perfectly, and people get them, and they just feel, they put it on, and it just doesn't feel right, and they're like, I want to return this.
Yeah.
Most people are just like, I change, it's my mind, so I'll pay to ship. A couple of people are like, I always hate this.
Yep.
They're like, you said the sleeve was 21 inches, and then they do it, and it's like 22 inches.
And it's hard because you're like, you're measuring it differently than I did.
And it's just like, 1 inch, it's like, where are you measuring from, and you're holding it differently, and you're stretching. It's just like, all right. And so then it's our fault.
Yeah, an item not as described.
And we're like, all right, whatever. So that's just how it is. But it definitely, I know why people get upset about it, because it is like demoralizing. You're like, man,
another one.
That's like $30. Oh, that's $50.
But check it out. Like those Prada boots that I sold, someone had returned them a couple months ago because they didn't fit. And then I sold them again. Yeah. So you're like, if I'm getting this back, I already have the listing. I'll sell it again.
Everything sells. Okay, things we learned in the forum. It's Brian B. He actually told us this a couple of weeks ago, but I just thought I'd talk about it. So USPS is raising its prices again in January. It seems like it happens every
year.
A year.
Right?
It's what it is. The good thing is it's only 5 cents extra on packages. So
okay, that's not too
really
bad.
Tiny.
But
it's really tiny and small. I'll put a link on the thing on it. And another, we had kind of a long conversation about this. About someone new came on and said, I'm spending so much time trying to find,
She said she was spending almost an hour per item researching.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Right, and so she's like, every day I can only put up like 2 or 3 things because it just takes so long. And so my point was, maybe at first when I don't know anything, we would spend more time trying to find what the price of things are.
Right, because we had no idea.
But these days when we go and thrift or scavenge, I would say maybe once per time I'll look up something on is my phone, but it's most everything else I've seen in some shape or form, enough where I can take an educated a risk and grab it and put it in the bag.
But so this is a new person. Now, I understand that, but there's enough data online for the type of item you're finding that you should not have to take an hour.
But there were even people on the forum who have been selling for a while that were saying they look up every single item. And I guess my thing is when that happens. So I guess my point is we go out and scavenge. I'm not checking out prices on things. I'm like, this is cheap. I know it's going to sell.
Yeah,
grab it.
It's worth it.
Then when we come home, we have a pile of stuff. We'll have some, we'll then go and we'll pull out stuff that we haven't really seen, and we'll do some searching on it. And that just, it's more exciting. It's like, oh, good, I feel real good about this.
Yeah, this is a cool thing.
And that gets us through the non-glamorous part of photographing. But we do the real research right at the end when it's priced. I mean, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you're like, okay, am I definitely pricing this right or what I want? Yes. But, if, like we said, if something's cheap enough, just get it. Like, you're gonna make money no matter what. Yeah. If it's a little bit higher, you're like, oh, this thing's $20. Is it just worth $20?
Yeah.
Or is it worth $300,
I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I guess it's my point is, if you've been doing this for a while, I feel like by now you should have like a system,
an encyclopedia in your brain.
I always call it a pipeline where stuff comes in, there's piles, and you get through piles pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And if researching is a thing slowing you down, I just feel like either you're only buying things that you've never seen ever, so you're always having to be like, what is this thing? Or you're maybe getting too much into the research, because it can definitely be a rabbit hole.
Well, like we always say, it's analysis paralysis, where you're like, is it worth way more? Am I underpricing it? You're just like, that can stop you from ever listing anything.
Right. You have to, get to the actual work, which we all don't like, of photographing.
And listing
it. Like, you have to get to that point.
There are some times, like, I was listing artwork, like, super unique, weird paintings, prints. Sometimes I get analysis paralysis on that stuff because I'm like, is this a known person? Is it outsider art? Is it amateur? Does anybody care? Am I underpricing this? And it takes me a while to be like, let me see if I can find, items kind of like this. Or let me see if I can determine if this is just like a knockoff of an old type of painting, or,
But the good thing is, every minute that you spend doing that adds to that your knowledge.
Yeah.
So next time, if you see some old paint by numbers, you'll kind of have a sense of, those kind of sell for X amount of dollars.
Right.
That's my point. Anyway. And then the other thing, which I thought was cool, we were having a conversation on the forum about hiring people.
Yeah.
Because, that's, I think, an interesting topic. People are like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
TSAT, who's a really great person on the its forum, he always, gives his numbers, and really, like, I like when people answer and they have, like, the ideas of why they think it's what they think, so they back it up with fact.
Right.
He was saying, outsource what you hate, so when you hire a person, what
you don't like to do.
Right.
And what keeps you from getting the job done.
And which I think is great. Like, that needs to be on a t-shirt. So if people are doing those shirts and they're trying to sell them, do that.
Outsource
your
what you
hate.
hate.
Although ask him if that's okay. I don't know
Yeah,
if you TM that or not. But, at the same time, though, you have to be willing to do anything that you expect someone else to do.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
I sometimes see that with people who are new to eBay and they're like, okay, I hate, having to like clean things and take pictures and put them on eBay. I just want to hire someone else. I think if you don't do that on your own and then trying to hire someone else to do that, I don't think you'll have enough info to give that person to show them how to do it.
Yeah. Like you have to experience doing it and how you want it done. I think for us that's the thing with doing eBay, cleaning houses, whatever. Like how you want it done, so you tell that person how you want it done.
Right, like we cleaned our rentals for
a year and a half, 2 years
on our own, and so when we finally got around to hiring a person, we knew everything. This is how we clean the toilet. This is how I clean the floor. This is the
products I use. This is the
also
rags
it helps
I use.
The person we hire, because I think we pay our cleaner more than most people.
Yeah,
because we know how much work it is.
It's a lot of work,
and so we're like, we're not going to pay you, whatever, $10 an hour. We're going to pay you like $25 an hour because we know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's answer the questions.
Okay, you can call us on the voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486.
Hi, Jay. Hi, Ryan. My name's Dave. I'm calling from the Metro Detroit area in Michigan, and I call, once a year or so. I get the bug to call and say something to you while listening to one of your podcasts, and that's what happened today as I'm listening to the poor Scavenger, rich Scavenger one, and just heard some stuff. I commented on a thread in the forum, too, about tipping your postal carrier, and I have the same postal carrier 95% of the time. Named Stephanie, very nice, and she'll pick up anything I put out there if it's got a USPS barcode on it, and that includes FedEx SmartPost packages, which they are not obligated to pick up. People are familiar with SmartPost. You have to take it to certain FedEx places, and I do have one a mile and a half from my house. And they scan it in, then they take it to the post office. Post office takes it to the city it's going to, then FedEx picks it up, takes it to the house. But she explained to me, I asked her one day, I said, hey, can you take these? And she said, hey, it's got a USPS, let me scan one. And it was fine. And I shipped hundreds of them like that, where she picks them up and there's never a problem with it. So I think I do about 100 a year packages, SmartPost packages a year. And I give her $50 around the holidays, and she's thrilled about it. And that breaks down to 50 cents a ride, and a 3-mile round trip. I'd pay someone 50 cents to take it every single time. And she's nice, and I want to support the postal service. And I had spinal surgery about 3.5 weeks ago, and put my store on vacation for a short time, and then I open it up, and I'm not allowed to drive, and my wife's out of town at a conference. She's an elementary school principal, and I sell 6 of the stupid FedEx SmartPost, and I have other people I could ask to take them up, but I don't want to do that. So and then even the carriers that fill in for her, she tells them, hey, take care of this guy, that's the thing. And I've had spinal surgery, and I'm down here with a neck collar on and a titanium plate fusing my spine together, taking pictures. It's a great life, and listening to you guys while I do it. So have a good holiday season, and thank you for all you do. Bye.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that you love your postal carrier and that you give her a holiday bonus. We also do that. We gave a holiday card and bonus or tip or whatever to both our carriers. Our substitute carrier, who I want to say she's more than substitute because she's here several times a week, and our main carrier as well. So just a reminder to everyone to treat your postal carriers well all the time, but also during the holidays.
Because really, these people they're almost they're
a part of your business.
They're a part of our business, for sure.
That's what I write in my card every year. I say, I could not run my business without you, because it's true.
Hi, Jay. Hi, Ryan. Your new storage building looks awesome. I don't know if you've started filling it yet, but I imagine you're still getting your shelving together. I had a question. I was thinking about getting a PayPal loan to kind of help expand my business. And if I remember correctly, you guys got one in the past, and I was just curious how you liked it. And one more thing. Yesterday, was a little slow and not selling anything, and sometimes when that happens, I start searching my stuff to see if it comes up. Well, I had like 4 vintage board games, and I searched it, and it didn't come up. And I just, I did a normal search, and then I noticed it was only coming up, instead of all categories, it was coming up in contemporary manufacturing of games. And I looked at mine. I had all mine on vintage manufacturing since they were made in the 60s and 70s. So I went and changed it, and lo and behold, I sold 3 of the games in the last 24 hours. So it's just something to think about. I looked at a couple other ones, too, and it was just pulling up a certain category that eBay wanted me to search in, and I've always liked searching in all categories, and I could change that, but, just searching, it was doing a certain category. So, if for an example, if you type in the search bar, vintage life board game, on mine I did that, and it came up contemporary manufacturing. When I went to mine, I had them in vintage manufacturing. I don't think it does it on everything, but it's something to look at occasionally, and it's definitely affected my sales, because I had some of these games for a while, and I was like, they used to sell, and all of a sudden, bam, as soon as I changed the category, it started changing. It started selling. All right, well, that's all I wanted, and I hope you guys have a great week, and Merry Christmas. If I don't, I won't talk to you, but maybe I'll be listening to you. Thanks.
All right, so number one, yes, we actually have taken out 2 of those PayPal loans.
Yes.
And actually, I kind of didn't believe it at first. You ask them how much they'll give you. It takes a second.
It literally takes 10 seconds.
They automatically, some robot computer thing sees how much your sales over time. They tell you how much they'll pay you, or they'll... it's not a loan officially. I don't know what it is, but anyway, they don't charge you interest. They just charge you a one-time fee. And they tell you how long that fee is, and they tell you, based on the sales over the past 12 months, we think it will take you X amount of time to pay it off.
Right.
And then we just choose, do we want to pay 30% of every sale?
And pay
20%,
faster? Yeah.
10%, a lower of the percentage, the more money they charge you.
Right. So the fee is less if you pay it off faster.
Right. We always say take out less.
Yeah.
It's really awesome, and actually we used it to help renovate a house.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, we need, more money to finish this house, the finishing touches. So we took out as much as we could.
I mean,
basically.
Because we have a pretty, hefty store.
Yeah.
I mean, we could borrow over $20,000.
Yeah, it was about 20
which
something.
Is incredible.
It's crazy because look, we were asking our bank, how long is it going to take for you to loan us this money, and what are the fees? And it took so long.
It could be as quick as a month. We would have to pay to have our property reassessed, and
plus you have to pay loan origination fees.
So really, it's a pretty big deal. I mean, obviously, we're not telling people to go ahead and do this. Like, you got to be careful. You want to be smart. But to us, we needed that money to get our rental into business,
to start making money,
and that's exactly to
pay back the loan.
Yeah, and I guess we could have done it to get that building too,
right?
But we had the money already, so it was fine.
So bottom line, we love it if you use it responsibly. I've heard other people on the forums say they use it regularly to buy inventory. Right. If they're like, I need a little cash infusion to buy this inventory so I can start selling it.
Yeah.
And
I guess just again though, but you want to be careful, because if your eBay income is like just enough to pay the bills, you obviously don't want to do that, because then they're taking 10 to 30% of your profits every month, and like it's going to take us, I think, almost a year to pay off that last amount we it's borrowed. So it's a significant,
it's a chunk of money, but but it was really helpful, and we needed it at that time.
So that's the answer. And then the second thing about eBay categories, I really hate that, because when I am a listing, like I do them up,
right,
and then Ryan does the final, did he do it right?
Yeah.
And I always hate having to pick the category.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because I'm like, is this category or is it this?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why does it matter? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because eBay wants to refine their search as best as possible. But the hard thing is like, I find with like vintage housewares or vintage like cooking ware, you're like, do I put it in vintage, or am I just like, anyone could use this, it doesn't matter that it's vintage,
Right.
like...
It doesn't matter that it was made in the 80s, it's still like a good knife, so just put it into industrial whatever.
Just regular, yeah, I know, it's hard to decide that sometimes.
Yeah,
I agree.
I hate to hear how just a switch in category suddenly will sell things, because I'm like, where are the people who buy this stuff? Are they not doing word searches? Like they're only... They only will search inside of a category?
Yeah, I guess so.
Hi, my name is Grady. I'm calling from Tucson, Arizona. I just wanted to tell a quick story about a buyer transaction I just had, because I hear so many stories about nightmare buyers, and this is a story about like a superhero, very helpful buyer. I sold a bunch of concert t-shirts, and apparently when I was shipping them out, I got them in the wrong order or something, and a guy received his correct t-shirt, a Sammy Hagar shirt that he loves, and about a week later he got a second shirt that was for the Beatles, and that Beatles shirt was supposed to go to a completely different person, and that person, I believe, received a different t-shirt that was supposed to go to someone else. So there was a whole chain of bad events here. But the guy who got the Beatles shirt opened it up, realized it wasn't for him. He called me twice and left me 2 messages, and sent me a message through eBay just letting me know. He sounded very friendly. So by the time I got to calling him back, which was about 20 hours later, he had already, based on the invoice in the envelope, because it had the correct buyer's invoice in the envelope, he had found her on Facebook, contacted her, let her know he had her shirt, and had gone ahead and mailed it out to her to that address without me being involved at all. So by the time I got in touch with him, he had already taken care of everything. So I thanked him profusely. He wouldn't accept payment. I offered to pay him through PayPal for the shipping. And then I messaged the buyer about the Beatles shirt, and hopefully it all works out in the end. And I just am really appreciative of this buyer. He did a super thing for me. And that's my story. Have fun, Scavengers. Bye.
I have a sneaking suspicion that buyer must have been a seller.
Could be.
Because they understood what needed
But I think
to
that's a really good point. I mean, and we're included in this. Very few of us ever talk about how good our buyers are.
Right.
And, I mean, I try to remind us, like, when we're talking, like when we have a negative experience.
Right.
I'm like, let's just remember, 99.9% of people who buy... They're just fine. They accept it. We don't hear from them.
They leave good feedback.
They're happy. Every so often, someone will even just write us and say, I got the item. I love it. And I'm like, cool.
Oh, awesome.
So also, it's just, we all focus on those few that are,
right, because those are the ones that affect you every day.
And these is painful and all that. So it's good to acknowledge when people are friendly. And
help you out.
That's why when new people come on, or I see these... forums where there's like every buyer's a scammer. I'm like, where are you selling? Like,
where are you experiencing this?
Yeah, like, what are you selling where like every buyer's a scammer? Like, that's just not my experience.
Yeah.
Like, the people that buy on eBay are like us.
Yeah.
Or you.
Deal.
Like, we all, buy this stuff, and we're all nice people. So,
yeah,
there you go.
Okay, that is it for the podcast this week. You can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discuss and to join the conversation on the forum. You can leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video showing what sold and how much it sold for, currently being brought to you by Steven Schultz. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or YouTube so you always get the latest episode. And we are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1. Goodbye. Bye.